This one sounds depressing, which sounds right up my alley. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, ValdaValsha. It's a new year, and I thought that this time around, rather than discussing figure pre-orders, I would be discussing manga with you guys because I have like absolutely no figure orders this year, but there is a lot of manga being released this year. So much so that I cannot cover it all in one video, so I figured maybe this should be a quarterly thing. I'll cover the manga from January to March now, and then we'll do the rest of the quarters as the year goes by. I will try to see which ones stand out to me and which ones I would be willing to kill my wallet over. Malevolent Spirits Mononogatari. This one has an anime that also got released around the same time as volume 1 of this manga's English release, and this is being published by Seven Seas. There are powerful beings whose spirits dwell within old objects. Hyoma is a young man who despises these evil spirits for robbing him of something precious. His mission? To use the supernatural powers granted to him to dispatch these Tsukumogami back to their own world, no matter what it takes. But when Hyoma's grandfather sends him to live with Botan, a kind-hearted girl who peacefully shares a house with an assortment of overprotective Tsukumogami, it's more than Hyoma can bear. Can Botan help Hyoma overcome his rage, or will his thirst for vengeance lead him down a dark and violent path? I have not heard the name Botan since Yu Yu Hakusho, and this also deals with spirits. Typically with stuff like this, if there's already an anime for it, I tend to check out the anime first, but not always. But in this case, they're being released relatively at the same time. Alright, next we have The Night Blooms Behind Castle Walls. This one I've actually known about for a while, and I've been waiting for a long time for it to get released, and I'm hoping to get this one soon. I am a sucker for fantasy manga. If it is fantasy, and it's like medieval and stuff, So this one's description is, Rosa dreams of taking up arms as a courageous knight. But to be one, she must first be a squire, and those duties around the castle are much less glorious. One moment she's caring for horses in the stable, and the next she's battling the task of chopping firewood or conquering a mountain of laundry. She must be ever ready to assist the knight that she serves. Her role may seem small and the task mundane, but each is an important step to becoming a knight. Rosa will face every challenge with the heart of a hero. So this one seems pretty cute. I'm definitely going to get this when I have the chance, especially because this one is going to be a very short series, and this will be a pretty easy one to collect. So the next manga that's on this list is something that I definitely do plan on getting. A lot of people have probably never heard of. I don't know why this has gone so under the radar, but it is an insanely popular shoujo series in Japan right now. It's been released since 2015, has like 21 volumes already. It has sold over 10 million copies. And to give you reference for another shoujo, Fruits Baskets, which was released in the 90s, has sold 30 million copies. So the next one on this list is Honey Lemon Soda. This one came out in December 2015. Middle school has left Uka Ishimori with nothing but scars, to the point where she's forgotten how to laugh or cry or even say hello. But a chance re-encounter with a boy with lemon-colored hair invigorates her, giving her hope that maybe, just maybe, life could be much sweeter if she actually reaches out for help. The premise reminds me a little bit of Komi Can't Communicate. A little bit different. This girl can communicate. It's not like Komi, where she's seen as like a beauty that no one can approach. It's just that she's very socially awkward. But what I like about this one is that she really does try to change and not stay the same. So Yen Press is releasing this. It is drama and romance. So far, from what I've read, it's very cute. If you are a shoujo lover, you will love this. And then next we have Pandora 7, which I have never heard of, but it does look quite pretty. This is also being released by Yen Press. It's drama, fantasy, science fiction, and it does have an age rating of 16+. So for this one, it's I wish I could meet other humans. That is the secret wish of Ria Frontier, who grew up as a sole human amid a veritable melting pot of other fantastical races on a small island. As she prepares to celebrate the turn of the 1,000-year cycle, that wish is granted in the form of a war party of humans that arrive on a flying ship to ransack her home and hurt her friends and adoptive family in search of Pandora's box. This got dark very quickly. It went from being like a kind of a happy fantasy to a tragedy just in that description alone. This one sounds depressing, which sounds right up my alley. So Condition Called Love is a manga that was previously kind of just like in digital jail by Kodansha, and now it is finally getting a physical release. This is by the same person who made Wake Up Sleeping Beauty. So if you've read that one and you like that, you'll probably like this, though this one's definitely going to be a lot longer. So Hotaru is a 16-year-old high school first year who has always been ambivalent about love, preferring instead to have a lively life with her family and friends. So when she sees her schoolmate Hananoi-kun sitting in the snow after a messy public breakup, she thinks nothing of offering to share her umbrella. But when he asks her out in the middle of her classroom the next day, she can't help but feel that her life is about to change in a big way. The description does not do it justice. It is different. So to give you an idea of what it is, Hananoi has, let's call them yandere tendencies. So he gets quite obsessive over Hotaru. So if you like the kind of like obsessive yandere-esque male lead, then you will like this. However, what Hotaru does is that she does basically tell him that a lot of his obsessive behaviors are too extreme and he should like calm down a bit. But it is a very cute series. I'm gonna move on to Sword of the Demon Hunter Kijin Gantosho. In the Edo period Japan, a young warrior Jinta has dedicated his life to the protection of a priestess in a remote mountain village. Demons appear and threaten the shrine. Jinta is tasked with entering the forest to hunt them down, but the mysteries he uncovers there change his fate forever and send him on a journey traversing space and time. His dark destiny will carry him through hundreds of years of history as he struggles to answer a single question: why does he wield a sword? Okay, so this one is by 7 Seas, historical and supernatural. Oh, it looks like this one has a light novel originally. We're gonna move on to Gabba Papa Daddy, at work and at home. So I've been waiting for this one. I saw that this was announced by 7 Seas. It's comedy, romance, and it's in full color. How many mangas do we get where it's like a married couple with kids just being cute? So I believe this is a josei, and this says his colleagues at work see him as a handsome, cool, and distant, but the moment he's back home, this frosty-looking salaryman shows his true colors as a doting father and husband. Playing silly games with his young daughter, showering kisses on his beloved wife. Talk about the gap between his appearance and his personality. These sweet stories about a wholesome family are sure to warm your heart. So this is just a very heartfelt slice of life, and I'm going to give this one a shot. But next on the list, being released right in time for Valentine's Day, just as Gap Papa is Marmalade Boy. So Marmalade Boy is a much older shoujo series that came out in the 1990s, somewhere around there. I think it was 1992. This one's coming out on Valentine's Day, and these are the collector's editions. So I don't think they're hardcovers, which is a shame, but I'm definitely going to collect this one. I've been wanting to get into Marmalade Boy. I've only read a few chapters of it. I'm so excited that it's finally coming out. Like, it was in English before, I think by Tokyo Pop, but now it's being re-released by 7 Seas. And this has a crazy premise that is so weird. Miki's life was pretty ordinary until the day that her parents told her that they were swapping spouses with another couple. So thanks to this unconventional arrangement, Miki now has new step-parents and a hot new step-brother. A hot new step-brother Yu. Miki isn't exactly thrilled with her new situation, and though Yu is super cute, he's also kind of a jerk. Can Miki sort out her complicated feelings for him and come to terms with her new family? The family situation is very weird. The parents go on vacation, they swap spouses, decide to keep it permanent. They come back and decide to buy a huge house together so that they don't have to divide up their family and make it hard for their children. The girl though, Miki, finds it incredibly weird and wants this to stop, whereas the boy's just like, well, so long as they're happy, who cares? She's the only one who like has reasoning with this of how weird the situation is. But this is a relatively short series. I think there's only like 40 chapters or something, especially with this being released in collector's editions. I imagine they're probably going to be like big omnibuses, so probably won't take very much to collect this. The premise alone is just too crazy not to read. Alright, so next is Mermaid Scales and the Town of Sand, released by Fizz. It is fantasy and slice of life. When Tokiko's parents break up, she and her father move from the bustling city to a sleepy coastal town to live with her grandmother. Starting 6th grade in a new school where everyone has known each other their whole life isn't easy. Things start to look up when a local boy, Narumi, another outsider, wants to be friends. But then strange memories start to surface, swimming in the ocean, drowning, getting saved by a merman. I'm a little confused. I can't tell if this is a one-shot manga because it does not say volume 1 anywhere. So I don't know if this is like a one and done kind of series or what. So this one I may pick up. Okay, moving on to The Great Cleric, being released by Kodansha. I think Kodansha also does the light novels as well. After his untimely death as the hardest working salaryman in Japan, Luciel is reincarnated into the magical fantasy world of Galdardia. Always the man with a plan, he recreates himself to be a healer and sets about making his way in the world. But while Luciel knows a thing or two about making money, he knows absolutely nothing about Galdaria. Oh my god. Will his good heart and great work ethic be enough to make him the Great Cleric? After being reincarnated, Luciel sets off on his quest with 3 silver coins in his pocket and a desperate need to make more. His first stop is the town of Meritoni. Oh my gosh, this description is wrong. Typically with isekai, I will watch the animes for them if they get animes, and if it's like otome isekai, because those are usually restricted to manga or manhwa, then I will read them. This one's getting an anime series, was announced in 2022, so I might check out the anime first if it's getting that anyway. Call the Name of the Night manga, which is a confusing name because I know there's another manga called Call of the Night, which is about vampires, but this is Call the Name of the Night. Released by Yen Press, it is fantasy and romance. Deep in the forest, a curious pair reside, a young girl, Mira, whose affliction leads her to call forth darkness whenever she's in distress, and her physician, Ray, determined to seek a cure. Each day, she works to remember the light and bring back the person that she used to be. But a sudden visit from Ray's friend, who harbors an interest in Mira's illness, may end their peaceful days. Just from the art alone, I'm pretty interested. The description of it I'm not too interested in. Admittedly, I'm more interested in this one because of the art. Next we have a very curious one. This one's called Sunbeams in the Sky manga. Upon first appearance, does this not look like a shoujo to you? And yet despite that, on manga updates, it's listed as a shonen, published in G Fantasy Square Enix. So this is being released by Yen Press. And the description is, twin sisters Himari and Mio are perfect copies on the outside, but their personalities couldn't be any more different. When Himari decides to stay home from school due to an unfortunate incident, Mio decides the best way to convince her to return is to take her place. I feel like this description gives like nothing of what the story is about, but it has twins. Alright, so next is another series that I'm quite excited for. It is The Eccentric Doctor of the Moonflower Kingdom, which, based on the cover alone, it looks very similar to another series that I've heard other people talk about before called The Apothecary Diaries, and I believe it has a similar premise as well. In the faraway lands of the Moonflower Kingdom, people have long relied on healing methods shrouded in superstition with dubious results. When the young prince Kayud goes in search of more reliable remedies, his party is attacked by mysterious assailants. He ends up witnessing a never-before-seen life-saving procedure that shocks him to the core. Even more surprising, the one who performs this medical feat is a beautiful yet slightly odd teenage girl named Koyo. Who is she? And why is the prince being targeted by assassins? The art alone is enough for me to pick up one volume. It's too pretty to ignore. Anyway, this one is being released by 7 Seas. It is drama, fantasy, and romance. So next I have The Otherworlder Exploring the Dungeon, which is released by Yen Press, and this one's for older audiences. It's 16+. Broke and desperate, Soda signs up for a gig to warp to a fantasy world and ascend a dungeon tower. So instead of just being isekai'd, you have a choice to be isekai'd now. However, an accident in the transfer process separates him from his teammates, leaving him stranded. Will his adventure end before it even begins? I am willing to bet that this one will eventually get an anime. And next one for this, for some reason this is not on Right Stuff at all, so I had to go to 7 Seas website, but it's called The Skull Dragon's Precious Daughter, and this one seems really cute. In a faraway land, there exists a forest where all manner of beings go to dispose of their trash. One day, a young girl named Eve is abandoned along with the usual debris, but she is quickly found by an aging dragon who decides to take her in and raise her as its own. Under this ancient being's watchful eye, Eve grows up happy and healthy, But soon their peaceful life together is interrupted by impending tragedy. Yet months later, Eve does something truly astonishing for the sake of reuniting with her dragon guardian. It just seems too cute not to buy. So last I have on this list is The Valiant Must Fall. And based on the cover alone, looks like a tragedy because you have a girl with a sword covered in blood being released by 7 Seas, historical, supernatural, and action, and it's also 16 plus. The Tokugawa shogunate has fallen, and former samurai Haruyasu is adrift in a strange new world searching for a place to die. But when he attempts to assassinate a government official, hoping this will bring the eternal peace he craves, Haruyasu finds himself at the mercy of the official's bodyguard, a young woman who claims she's the daughter of an immortal. What will she ask in return for sparing his life? So I will probably check this out. Alright, so that's not everything, but a lot of manga that is coming out in the next few months or has already been released. Too many of them I want to buy. This is going to be a problem. But let me know in the comments down below, which series are you looking forward to that are being released through January to March of this year. I will revisit this again later on this year once there's some more new announcements. Till then, I will see you guys all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!